think 2019 is probably one of the, well, I can say one of the worst years we ever had. You know, we had several problems. We had problems with the hurricane that hit us, then the BP oil spill. But right now, we're finding a diversion named the Bonnie Carey Spillway that's dumping more water in our area than what we ever had in the history of my business. You're looking at it open for 143 days, and probably one of the worst times we have, one of the growing area time that we had. So it went through our spatting season where we have the new generation of stuff coming. So as we are right now, it not only killed, it killed some areas 100% of our production. We at the present time are operating probably around 5% of what we normally operate. We are probably one of the worst I've ever seen in the history of my business. The future right now, we don't have it. And then we got one of the highest rivers coming back again. So you see, if we put rock in the water today, we have 3 years to 4 years before our investment comes. So what we done 4 years ago, 5 years ago, was destroyed by all this fresh water. New babies was destroyed. So our whole entire crop. So we have 5 years of now. So if we start today, which we don't see any spat, we got 3 years. Somehow or another, the areas that survive are stunned or not growing, can't be market size. You can see on the table here that some different sizes of oysters. We prefer an oyster to get into 3 inches or larger for our oyster. Our product and our market is oyster bars these days. They give us a top value. But right now, my business, 8 months, never fished an oyster. Never fished an oyster. So where is the future? It's dim, very dim. We need a miracle in the water to change. We don't have salinity. We have more fresh water coming down than we ever had before. We would like, as an industry, you know, as with y'all with the Farm Bureau and stuff like this, we would like to be treated as a farmer. We do the same thing as a farmer does. Our fields are in the water. Our tractors are our big boats. We cultivate by putting rock on the ground and cultivate our oysters. Certain time we put rocks in, rocks come out. So we do exactly what a farmer does. We rotate our crop, we move our crop, we put it from one area to another. Sometimes we move it miles away when it's growing slow to growing faster. We do exactly what a farmer does, but we don't get recognized as a farmer. I don't understand why. Our devastation with our investment, when we put in the rock, when we put the rock in the water, we can't even write off our devastation of the rock. We can write off our investment, but we can't write the potentials like a farmer was done. When a farmer gets devastated, he gets paid by the harvest what he would have harvested. Or we would act as an industry to help if we can get what our crop would be developed to be even tax credit. You know, Louisiana is the #1 in the world producing oysters and seafood, and we're losing it. And we feel the state is not behind us. How can you invest in a state that's not behind you? You know, on the east side of the river, we have dumped millions and millions of culch. We have probably 5,000 to 10,000 employees. What state would want an industry that self-runs, pays their own investments, backing? That's our problem. We have, you know, we feel like left out. We've been in DC, we've been in Baton Rouge, and have we any help? None yet. You hear about the money that might be coming down from disaster. Listen, there's 7 states applying for that money. Alone, our damages, Louisiana's $258 million. That's one this year. What happens the next 3 years? They estimate we lost $121 million in the private sector. We think that's just a little piece of the pie. We think it can go $500,000 to $1 billion worth of damage in the next 3 to 4 years. What are we going to do? Can we afford to keep investing in a state that keep dumping the water in? You got 31 states and 2 continents dumping everything down the mighty Mississippi River. Where they go? On our estuaries. That's why I said, I think it's time. Industry needs, people need to know what we're facing. Because would you invest bad money in a bad bank that you lose money all the time? You won't. So we're at the stage, should we just pick up and leave? But when we pick up and leave, the estuaries are just going to die out. You're going to lose recreation fishing, you're going to lose shipyards, hardwares. It's going to be a devastation to this industry. We just would like the world to know what kind of trouble we're in. And, you know, we never ask for a hand, but, you know, they pay the mighty farmers from the Missouri down when they get floods. And we're talking about the same topping of the river that ruined farmers, devastated our industry.
I can't think of a single thing you didn't cover, Brad. I need to come out and do a story with you guys.
Come on. We'll show you. We'll go to our rock yard, because after Katrina, we was in a tough situation that we didn't know where we were going to get our coach. So after disaster, we started crushing all the slabs, me and my brothers, all the slabs, and we putting them in the water. 1 year alone, we put over 240,000 tons of rock on the east side of the river. That's a foundation. That's support of our coastline. You never hear nothing about that. You just hear that we take. Guys, we don't take. We are more giving than any industry there is. I would invite you and the public to come on out, see what we do, see the devastation of what we have, see our investments we put back in. You know, if I would have with my company invested since Katrina and since the BBL stuff, I can retire. But no one made me do it. But you know, when you love what you do and you do what you love, it's hard to stop.
That sounds like every farmer I know.
You're right, the same thing. But our tractors are our boats. They up and down those fields. We up and down. We up and down our reef. Same exact thing. The only difference, you can't see our crop. That's the only thing.
It's underwater.
It's underwater.